Hey everybody. So this video is really about, what is this blog about? It took me a long time to actually clarify it because in my mind it's happening all the time. So I really had to break it down and really make it really easy for people to understand. So my transition is all about identity change, and it's about finding the spiritual aspect of the self, right? So everyone is now really realizing that identity change is required at some point in your life. Identity change isn't easy. I tend to think people think it's easy, but it's not. This is actually quite difficult, especially if you're not. Now, everybody goes, well, I'm not a spiritual person. I don't believe in that. Everybody has the spirit side of them. To not believe in the spirit is not to be a human being, which I don't really understand. So it's incorporating the spiritual aspect of the self so that you can incorporate this. And when the spirit and the identity change work together, transition becomes quite fun and it becomes meaningful. And so therefore, and I'll break it down further, you find your purpose. So identity change is required in life. When you decide to take on an identity change, that is up to you. Everyone does it when they want to do it, and that decision lies solely with you, and we'll get to that later. But identity change is massive in life, huge, and when you have this and this, it becomes a lot of fun. I'm not saying that you won't have tough times. To even say that is incorrect, and I think that's why a lot of people end up very unhappy. There is always going to be negatives in life, always. You've always got to find the silver lining, and you've always got to find that positive, but you will have negative times in this as well. So if this is, what you are looking for, and this is something that you might consider, I would highly recommend listening further. I'm just breaking down my blog and what it means to me. And what it's all about, it's identity change and incorporating the spiritual aspect of the self. Once you begin these two though, you'll get on that roller coaster or get on those waves and you'll start riding them and you'll never ever look back. So this is really important. I highly stress that if this is what you really want in life, I would say good on you. There's not a lot of people that would do this, especially this. So if you have that courage to say, okay, I really need something different in my life. And I tend to find when you don't want to fit in anymore. And don't get me wrong, you want to try and fit in to a certain extent, but I believe that this and this comes down to when you want it. And it comes down to when you are ready to really incorporate that spiritual side of your identity change and really learning what it's all about. You'll definitely have a lot of fun. I know I certainly did. I now am on my way, and it's really quite fun. So identity change and realistically incorporating the spiritual aspect of the self is what my transition is all about. I do believe a lot of mental health sits between these two. So once you find that spiritual aspect of yourself within identity change, you'll find that your mental health will get a lot better. You'll also be able to really find your purpose. And once a human being has purpose, we fly high. We're like eagles. So for me personally, that's what my blog is all about.